live review. The movie is called Babygirl. It looks like, these erotic thrillers. Would this really be a thriller, though? It's like an erotic drama. I guess that's what you could call it. Nothing new, especially in the 90s. Oh, my God, there were tons of these movies. So could this be a resurgence of that type of movie? I don't know. It's tough to say. Like this, I think this is a more artsy 50 Shades of Grey.
And if I don't?
Get on your knees.
No. What?
Get on your knees now. Is that what you want?
You're very young. I don't want to hurt you.
I saw 50 Shades of Grey. That's, you can file that in like the Twilight category. I think this is a step up in terms of, the filmmaker, just the artistic value of the movie. It's a little bit more highbrow. You get better. I think it's a better script. It's better acting, whatnot. But the young guy, I've never seen him in anything before. Harris Dickinson. He plays Samuel, and she plays Romy. Nicole Kidman plays Romy. Directed by Helena Rhine. I think it's Rhine, Reijn. So you can kind of get an idea there from the trailer what it's about. She's like a CEO type. From seeing the movie last night, getting a little bit more context of what the whole story is about. She's married to Antonio Banderas. What I can tell you is they have, an intimate, what do you want to call it? I guess they have a healthy sex life. So of course, this movie being an erotic type of movie, it's going to dabble in that area where you wonder, does she have, a healthy sex life, or is this something extra? I'm not going to tell you everything about her personal life with Antonio Banderas. But let's just say things aren't as to what she would like. When you've been married for like 30 years, which I think she is to him in this movie, things do get a little bit dry and monotonous. And I think that's kind of the theme of this movie. And then temptation. He is this intern that works under her. Think of it like he's an intern. She is the CEO. So there's probably 10 rungs between her and him. And when he meets her, I think it's okay for me to say this. He makes a pass at her. And so that's kind of the turning point of the movie in the first act. Yeah, so that's as you can probably guess, that they have sort of a love affair, kind of like, remember in Fatal Attraction, stuff like this is sort of like that because she gets in too deep, right? And in the trailer, you could see he tells her, I could literally make a phone call and end your whole career. I have more power over you. So it's kind of interesting that power dynamic. Somebody that's at the very lowest rung actually has, in this regard, more power than the CEO person because she's got more to lose, right? She's got a lot to lose. So that's this movie. I think it does a really good job of playing with those themes. I think Nicole Kidman is fearless in this and is able to give a lot of herself, like literally. And, if we all know Nicole Kidman, if you follow her career, she's done like nudity in movies and whatnot before. Check out like Dead Calm. That's way early in her career with Billy Zane. That is one of the most underrated movies I have ever seen. I remember seeing it when it first came out. I saw it on HBO and I just loved it. About this couple, they're on a boat. Billy Zane comes on the boat. Another one of those like temptation type movies, right? I guess she likes these types of films. But as far as like chemistry, because when you're watching a movie like this, and I'm going to give my opinion on one aspect of 50 Shades of Grey, I really didn't think they had that much chemistry, if I'm being honest. I think you either have it or you don't when you're doing these types of movies. The couple in this movie, they definitely have chemistry. They're definitely selling it. I've talked about this in the past where it seems like intimate scenes these days in movies, they tend to hold back. Whereas if you watch like movies from like the 80s, and they don't even have to be like erotic type movies, man, the couples, they let's just say they made it believable, right? If you've seen movies like True Romance, there's a love scene in True Romance, which isn't even that type of movie, but oh boy, they go after it, So this movie is kind of a return to form in that regard. And I do think the young guy, he's really convincing. I think one of the biggest problems that some might have with this movie is the age gap between the two, because Nicole Kidman, obviously, she's probably around 60, something like that. And this movie doesn't try to hide that. They're not trying to make Nicole Kidman seem like she's in her 40s. No, they even address like the use of Botox, you know, just to kind of lay the groundwork on, you know, who she is as a character. And you could kind of compare her to an actress who has to, you know, upkeep their image and try to stay young as possible. And so this movie, it touches on those themes too, and shows the good and the bad side, and almost like the addiction of trying to stay young as much as possible. And so, yeah, this movie really, I think it deals with temptation quite well. It's perfect, you know, as far as like an A24 movie goes, capturing that artistic vibe to it. And I quite enjoyed it. I'm trying to think of, are there any cons of this movie? Obviously, when you're dealing with a movie with this subject matter, with a married couple, you know, and they're both around the same age, once you start getting into the last act of any type of movie like this, you're gonna get differing opinions based on the context, right, of what's going on. And you might even say some people, they might blame both sides a little bit, even though one side of the party, you know, strayed away. And I kind of like that about these movies, that they're not always black and white. Sure, black and white does exist at times, especially I think with younger couples and whatnot. But I think when you get, you know, in your older years, this type of stuff, I think it's a little bit more common, you know. And I think this movie touches on that as well. So, yeah, as far as a rating for this movie, I would definitely give it like a low purchase worthy. I thought it was pretty effective. And you know, for 2024, I think it was kind of refreshing to have something outside of, I guess, the norm, especially if you're like, you know, somebody that likes a variety of movies like I do. Yeah, I love horror the most, but this is the first of its kind that I've seen this year. And yeah, there's some, like, I guess, more lower budget independent films that might touch on, you know, eroticism. But this is, you know, it's A24. It's a bigger studio with a budget, with, you know, big star power like Nicole Kidman, who seems to do like 12 movies a year and 2 TV shows, right? And how does this woman keep it going like she does? It's quite impressive, if I'm being honest. And how does she get sleep? And I ask myself, how do I get sleep with all that I do? I had a freaking long day at work, and then, you know, jump on here, and this is my nice little break, just hanging out with you guys. So yeah, so that's my review for Babygirl. Comes out on Christmas Day, and yeah,